we have a trade to announce. And this is very interesting with ripple effects around the NHL, I think. The Dallas Stars trade Mason Marchment to the Seattle Kraken for a 3rd and a 4th round pick. I love this for Seattle. It's okay for Dallas, but it was a necessary evil. Let's talk about it. So, news from earlier today, and this is valid for this conversation, Matt Duchene signs a multi-year contract extension with the Stars. The Dallas Stars, who are like a who's who of producer Drew's favorite players. Matt Duchene, he does not like Mason Marchment, but he's not there anymore anyway. Mikko Rantanen, that's a tough team for an Avalanche fan, man. Anyway, Matt Duchene's deal pays him $4.5 million per season against the cap for the next 4 years. Now, 4 years for a 34-year-old might give you a little pause, maybe a little red flag. $4.5 million against the cap for a dude who gave you a full 82-game season this past season, 30 goals, and 52 assists for 82 points. Even if he falls back to the totals he had the season before, which was 25 goals and 65 points, that's pretty good value. A dude who can play pretty well on the wing, a dude who can play pretty well up the middle. That makes a lot of sense. You know what doesn't make a lot of sense? What doesn't make a ton of sense is when you have only about $400,000 in cap room left, and Jamie Benn is a UFA, so is Evgeny Dodonov, so is Mikhail Granlund, who you paid a lot for at the trade deadline. Colin Blackwell, Maverick Bourque is an RFA, Brendan Smith is a UFA, Cody Ceci is a UFA, and you paid a lot to get him, and Nils Lundqvist is also an RFA. Even if you look at that and you go, yeah, well, you let most of them walk. Okay, you still got an ice a team next year. I assume you have aspirations of being better, and 400 grand isn't enough to sign one guy, let alone several. The Dallas Stars are out of cap space. That is the problem. And that should explain why this trade happened for the return that it did. Dude, if you're the Seattle Kraken and you didn't make the playoffs and you struggle to score goals and they're kind of soft too, a little bit. This is the player. Dude, he's big, he's an enormous jerk, and he puts up points. Not old, he's kind of right in his prime. He had 22 goals and 47 points in a 62-game season. If he played a full 82-game season, that's a 62-point pace. Not to mention a 29-goal pace. This is a player the Seattle Kraken could use, big time. 6'5", 212 pounds, he's 30 years old, but he's only got 1 year left. It's kind of a no-brainer for both teams. Is it good value for Dallas? No, but it's something they badly needed. You might look at that and go, well, why didn't the Stars simply get rid of Matt Dumba? He's got an expensive contract and only 1 year left. The difference is, I don't really think anyone wants Matthew Dumba. His reputation used to be, for all his defensive warts, he still lays huge hits and he puts up a bunch of goals for a blue liner. Last season in 63 games, he had 1. For $3.75 million? No thanks. I want the guy who scored at like a 30-goal pace. So, Dallas Stars are out of the woods then, right? They're fine. No. You don't take your eyes off the Dallas Stars for a minute. They're not done. Puckpedia has the Stars at a hair under $5 million in cap space for this upcoming season. Maverick Bourque wasn't a big factor for the Dallas Stars in the playoffs. They didn't play him a whole ton, but he's 23, and that's not a player you want to lose. 11 goals, 14 assists for 25 points on the Stars this season. And before you look at that and go, that's not even all that impressive, it's not a huge number, but keep in mind how impossible it was to get ice time on the Dallas Stars this year for a young player. He was the 30th overall pick from the 2020 draft, and someone the Stars probably want going forward. And maybe the most likely offer sheet candidate in the whole NHL right now. There's Joel Hofer in St. Louis too. With the holes that the Stars still have on their roster, they could go super young, super cheap next season, and $5 million still might not be enough to get it done. And again, they paid a lot for Granlund. They paid a lot for Ceci in that deal too. Mostly Granlund though. And Granlund was great for them in the playoffs in my opinion. I loved watching him. With all those roster spots, Maverick Bourque, Nils Lundqvist, they don't even have close to the amount of money to bring Granlund back into the fold. So what do? Unfortunately, you trade players who make a lot of money with 1 year left on their contract for pennies on the dollar. like the Dallas Stars did with Mason Marchment. Like, if Mason Marchment was available at the trade deadline, he's going for at least a first. Of course, that wouldn't have made any sense for the Dallas Stars to do. They were hoping to win the Stanley Cup. And I mean, they got to the Final Four and still ended up firing their coach. But still, it's an understandable deal for Dallas. It's ultimately a victory for Dallas, even though it's not the greatest trade, but there's still work to do. For the Seattle Kraken, like, easy. Easy. It makes perfect sense. Marchment scored at a 29-goal pace. The leading goal scorer on the Seattle Kraken had 26. Oh, and they traded Oliver Bjorkstrand to Tampa. Now, they got some interesting things going on. Shane Wright had like an underratedly pretty decent season last year. They went out and they got Kaapo Kakko, who was also kind of underratedly good for them. But they had two guys score 50 points or more. That's not enough. Jared McCann led the Seattle Kraken with 61 points. Marchment scored at a 62-point pace. Like, this is actually a big get for them, considering what they are. They need two things badly, in my opinion. They need goals, and they need anyone not named Philip Grubauer, to back up Joey Daccord, who has been one of the more underrated goalies in the NHL over the past 2 years. Nothing behind him. Nothing. Daccord went 27, 23, and 5 with a .906 save percentage this past season. Philip Grubauer was 8, 17, and 1 with an 875. An 8 what? You allowed a guy with an 875 to play 26 games for you? No, simply no. Heavens to Betsy, no. ON on opposite day. To me, this is a move Seattle had to make, and they did it for a third and a fourth. One of the picks isn't even this year. This is a no-brainer move. No-brainer. Even if Marchment were to walk at the end of the year, you paid a third and a fourth. Ideally, he helps you get better and make the playoffs, in which case a third and a fourth is more than worth it. Or if you end up not really being in the playoff picture, imagine what you get for this guy at the deadline. It's a lot more than a third and a fourth. The Dallas Stars get something done that they had to do, and the Kraken get better. We call that a win-win, folks. What do you think of this deal? What do you think of the Kraken going forward? And what do you think the Dallas Stars do from here? But for now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. SDPN, we're just firing out trade and signing content like a Gatling gun. Hit like and hit subscribe.